Welcome to the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. Today, as we begin the season of Lent with this Ash Wednesday, we also begin our weekly Lenten reflection series presented by the priests of the National Shrine. Our reflections this year will be brought to you from the Mother of Sorrows Chapel, which is located in the east side of the Great Upper Church. This chapel, which was dedicated in 1965, is a gift from the Catholic Slovak Union of the United States and Canada, and features this life-size Pietà, which is the sixth of the seven sorrows of Mary, Jesus being taken down from the cross. To the left and the right of the Pietà are the remaining sorrows of Mary. I like to think of the season of Lent as our annual 40-day retreat, when the Church summons us, as St. Paul states in the letter to the Corinthians, to be reconciled to God. And we do so through the assistance of the ancient penitential practices of prayer, fasting, and works of mercy. Numbers are a significant part of our daily life. Most of us have a telephone number, a social security number, as well as a number that is part of our home address. Of course, there are many other numbers that are part of our life, such as our age, which a friend of mine often says is an unpublished number. In Scripture, numbers also have a special significance or symbolism. The ones that you're probably most familiar with are 3, 7, and 40, as well as the famous 666, which we find in the book of Revelation as the number for the second beast that emerges from the earth and is referred to as being the false prophet. The number 3 signifies divine perfection, such as we encounter in the Most Holy Trinity, and is magnificently displayed in the central dome of the Great Upper Church of this National Shrine. The number 7 signifies the totality of perfection, or completeness. And we see this most especially in the book of Genesis, in the account of the creation of the world, as well as in the 7 sacraments of the Church. The number 40, as in the 40 days of Lent, represent a period of testing, preparation, and purification. The Israelites wandered 40 days in the desert. Moses was on the top of Mount Sinai for 40 days before he received the 10 Commandments. The rains fell for 40 days before the dove indicated dry land to Moses. Jesus fasted 40 days in the desert following his baptism. And we celebrate the Feast of the Ascension 40 days after Easter. The 40 days of Lent are, as St. Paul proclaims in the letter to the Corinthians, our days of salvation. Days in which the Church calls us to look at our lives and to examine how we live and see if we are living up to the summons of the gospel, observing the commandments, and striving to reflect the image and the likeness of Jesus in our daily life. We begin our Lenten journey by having ashes placed on our forehead as an outward sign, which stems from the biblical tradition of covering oneself with ashes as a symbol of mourning, contrition, and penance. You will also find, especially in the Old Testament, that in addition to covering oneself with ashes, people also wore sackcloth, which, unlike our comfortable cotton shirts, was used to make people uncomfortable and served as a reminder throughout the day that they were undergoing a penance. The ash cross on our forehead reminds us that we have now undertaken a penance. We have entered a period in which we strive to rend our hearts, as the prophet Joel advises, so that our hearts are more confirmed to the heart of the Lord. Lent, Pope Francis tells us, is a time of interior renewal in which to grow in our union with God. For many, the path to growth these next 6 weeks will take the form of concrete actions, such as abstaining from some of our favorite activities, as well as fasting from food and drink. Although Lent is traditionally looked upon as a time in which we give up something. It is also an opportunity for us to take up something, as we are encouraged to spend more time in prayer, perhaps attend Mass during the week, and practice the corporal and spiritual works of mercy. Whatever our Lenten practices might be, I like to remind people that it is important that we undertake what I would like to call a practical fast. Depriving ourselves during Lent is to open us more completely to God, so that God can fill whatever might be lacking in our life. Our penances are not supposed to make us miserable, and definitely not make the people around us miserable. If this is the case, then the penance is counterproductive. Lent is supposed to help us, not hurt us. So now, as we enter this 40-day period of purification and preparation, leading to the 3 great days of the Triduum, Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday, followed by the celebration of the Lord's resurrection on Easter Sunday, which, since I've been talking about numbers, is always the first Sunday after the first full moon. May we use these days of Lent to our advantage. In the words of the prayer for the blessing of ashes, as we follow the Lenten observances, may we be worthy to come with minds made pure to celebrate the Paschal mystery.